ever feel like you're just like bombarded, like just info overload constantly,
Oh, yeah.
just plugged in
I
24/7?
feel that.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but like I've been finding myself kind of going back to basics in a way,
Okay.
like turning to more like ancient wisdom and stuff like that.
Right.
Timeless practices, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of offer a little bit of peace in all the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually what we're going to dive into today.
Okay, cool.
A listener wrote in and asked us to kind of dig into the Nanakaral
Oh, wow.
by Avayar.
The Nakaroll. Okay.
Yeah, have you ever heard of this?
I've heard of it. I'm not like a scholar on it or anything, but
Yeah, me and
I'm familiar.
Yeah. This is going to be fun to kind of unpack together.
Okay.
But yeah, so this text, for listeners who haven't heard of it, it's this collection of ancient Tamil poetry.
Right.
And it's super revered
Okay.
in Tamil-speaking communities
Right.
for its wisdom.
I see.
And we found this really interesting concept in Chapter 5 called Vayudharana.
Vayudharana.
Yeah, and we were so curious about it.
Okay. So Vayudharana, if I'm remembering correctly, that translates to like breath control, essentially, right?
Literally meaning breath control.
Exactly. And, that in itself speaks volumes, I think, about how important breath was considered in this tradition.
Right, because it's not just air, right?
Exactly. Vayu in ancient Indian thought,
Yeah.
it's not just talking about the air that we breathe. It's more like this vital life force
Right.
that animates us.
That energy.
Yeah, that prana, that chi. So when the Nana Curl talks about controlling the breath, it's really about like
Right.
mastering your own life energy.
It's so interesting. It's like harnessing that inner power
Yes.
through something as simple as the breath.
Exactly.
Which we do all the time without even thinking about it.
Right. It's funny how the most important things are often the things we just kind of like take for granted.
It's so true. So, okay, so we're talking about breath control. The Nanakaral actually recommends a specific practice.
It does. And, this practice might ring a bell. It's called Kumbhaka Pranayama. Ever heard of it?
I have dabbled a tiny bit with breath work,
Okay.
through like meditation apps and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
But to be honest, I don't know that I could really tell you what Kumbhaka Pranayama is.
Okay. So imagine this. You take this deep breath in, your lungs are completely full, and then you just pause. You hold your breath for a beat
Okay.
before you exhale.
Gotcha.
That intentional holding of the breath.
That's Kumbhaka Pranayama.
That's Kumbhaka Pranayama. And the fascinating thing is that it's not just a physical practice.
Yeah.
It really impacts your mind, too.
It's so true because I've even noticed when I'm doing those little 2-minute
Right.
breath work things on these apps that just like those little moments of focused breathing can really just like shift your energy.
Yeah.
So are there different types of Kumbhaka Pranayama?
Yeah, there are a couple of different types. So you have Antar Kumbhaka, which is holding your breath after you inhale.
Okay.
And then there's Bahakopaka. And that's when you hold your breath after you exhale.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and they each have like these subtle but distinct effects on your system,
I see.
influencing everything from your heart rate to how clear your thinking is. It's pretty amazing.
It really makes you think about we're talking about this ancient text
Right.
that was recommending this practice however many centuries ago and like how much wisdom there is in these ancient traditions.
Like we think we're so advanced.
Right. Like they were really onto something.
They had it figured out in a lot of ways.
It's true. I think about like our modern world, just like notifications and to-do lists and just like...
It's relentless.
Yeah, and focus feels like a luxury.
Oh, it totally is.
And the natural is basically offering this tool to cultivate that. It's exactly clarity and stillness.
It all comes back to that.
It does.
Yeah.
And there's this one line of the Nanakral that really stuck with me.
Okay.
It says, "When breath wanders, the mind also wanders. When breath is still, so is the mind."
That's it right there. That's the...
It's so simple.
It's so simple, but it's so profound.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it just clicks. And it's basically what science is proving now, right?
Exactly. Like all this research on things like Kumbhaka Pranayama is showing that it can really like influence your nervous system, activate that calming parasympathetic response, and just bring you back into balance.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder breathwork is becoming so popular again. It's like we're rediscovering this ancient wisdom that's been there all along.
Exactly.
So as we kind of like wrap up this little journey into the world of ancient breathwork, I keep thinking, like if something as simple as our breath can have this much power, what else is out there?
Right.
Waiting to be like unlocked.
Yeah, exactly.
In these texts.
It makes you think.
So I think the big takeaway here is to keep exploring.
Keep that curiosity going.
Yeah, and like maybe take a few deep breaths along the way.
I love that. That's a great place to end it.